Hey, it's me, Unapologetically T, and I'm here with the story time. I think I'm gonna call this one Did He Kiss Me or Did I Kiss Him? And this one has been on my heart. I have spoke in some of these videos about a best friend I had in middle school. I had her in high school, and I had her in college. And it's funny how those things work out. Like, when I say this girl couldn't do no wrong, like, this girl could do no wrong in my head. She basically was like Dante, like, she couldn't do no wrong, and couldn't nobody fuck with her. Like, like, that was I feel like we don't talk about this much, but like, she was one of those friendships where it was like, I loved her. Like, I loved her. And it's not in a sexual way whatsoever, but like, I loved her to death. And when I realized that the relationship was like flawed, toxic, it broke my fucking heart. Like, it broke my heart, just like me having to leave Dante. It broke my heart. Because I guess I had put her on this pedestal, and I just didn't know. I didn't pay attention. I didn't want to see. And I didn't want to know. So that's another thing, when you start to realize like you're dealing with narcissistic people. I'll call them demons. But I think we all have our demons. So that's why some of us, like, when you start to learn about narcissism, like, you'll realize we all have narcissistic tendencies. There's just some people who are full-blown narcissistic. And then you got different types of narcissists. So you got some who are blatant, and you got some that are covert. You just got different types. So if you are or find that you have people like the people I described in my life, in yours, go do your research on narcissism. On the internet, that term is being thrown around freely, but like, if you are experiencing some of the extreme cases of being mistreated and being gaslit and all the number of things, like, I would suggest you definitely go on a rabbit hole on YouTube, and also some books out there. So in this case, though, I would say, like, when I reflect back, Dante was not my first narcissist. I definitely think my parents were. I like to think my mom she has narcissistic tendencies. I don't think that she's full-blown narcissist, because I think, like, my mom has the ability to be called out and learn to do better if she's being called out. I think it's just that it was this dynamic of, in my black household, that the mom is law and the kid is, not. So I think now that I'm grown, we're learning that respect should be respect, period. And that, it is okay that she messed up in certain areas. Like, she's human. I put her on a pedestal as her being my mom. Like, I think we don't talk about this enough, but like, we look at our parents kind of like as God when we're very young. Like, we look at them to provide our needs and our wants. We look at them as they can fix and save and cure anything. Like, they're literally our, what we think of like God to be to us. And if that power is misused, that's when abuse can happen and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely feel like where my father, it can't nothing go in, it can only come out. My mom, I feel like she can be called out and she'll figure it out eventually. You gotta give her time. And at her age, I think she does an amazing job. She just pisses me off sometimes. Well, those were my first narcissistic people, and then, like, it just was a treasure treasure trove of of them throughout. And this friend, I definitely would say, like, I understood her. And that's kind of some of the ways, and that's a common theme throughout my lifehood, is that I understood why she was doing some of the things she was doing. Like, so I definitely didn't hold them against her, or I chose not to see them for what they were at times where I knew it would shatter the reality of that I held to her. I will say, like, she has some really great qualities about her. Like, she's very intelligent. That's one of my things my mom said to this day. Like, you know, no matter what, you picked smart people to be friends with. All your friends had something going on for them. And so, like, she definitely, like, very intelligent, very goal driven and all that stuff. So, like, she had really great qualities. Like, and I think that's where people get things twisted, is that they think somebody's all bad. Nobody's all fucking bad. Like, nobody would be with anybody like that, man, if they just was all bad. So, she definitely had great qualities. And I feel like at the end of the day, you know, despite the other shit, she would be there for you. Now, what's she gonna do with your business and your information and all that stuff? You know, I feel like she wasn't a confidant. That's why I'll put that. So, and I think she got off on watching drama and chaos unfold. And I think that speaks to, you know, her own traumas and whatever she went through. But saying that, I have talked about the things that she's done to me, or not all of the things that she's done to me, because it was one thing that really broke my feelings, that really hurt my feelings. And I had been thinking hard about that, and this story kept coming up for me. So we were teenagers. I probably would say we were about 14 or 15. I think we were like 9th grade at the time. And she had a boyfriend where she lived at, like, the apartments complex that she lived at. And, like, I used to go over her house. And that particular time I went over, and her actual boyfriend, like, what was that at? That actually was like Southside. It was like it was some apartments on Westover Hill Boulevard. That's what I remember. And so her boyfriend, she had went in the house real quick, and her boyfriend was outside, and I was outside, and she went in the house real quick. Her boyfriend at the time came towards me, started talking to me. I am naive. I don't really, like, you know what's going on. I used to value her so high. Like, I thought she was so pretty. Like, I had low self-esteem, so I thought she was, like, prettier than me. I thought she had, like, better hair than me. And she kind of put herself on a pedestal anyway. Like, she was one of those people where, like, you weren't going to tell her who she was. She was going to tell you who she was. And I was, on the other hand, the opposite. It was like, you know, I did not really know who I was. I did not see my beauty or my value. And so, like, I didn't even think that he even was looking my way. And then he was, like, he was a very, like, I wouldn't say very attractive, but, like, he was an attractive boy. He had, like, long, pretty hair. He wasn't light skinned, but he was, like, maybe like a caramel color or something like that. And I think he was, like, Jamaican or something. But, like, he was attractive, and so I never even thought he looked my way. But homeboy kept getting closer and closer, and he started asking me, like, questions that, like, I guess you would ask somebody if you were interested. But me being young and dumb and naive, I'm not really knowing. So I'm just there standing there nervous, hoping and praying, you know, like, she hurry up and come back, because I was in an uncomfortable situation. And then out of nowhere, like, he kisses me. So he kisses me. I pull away, and says that she's my friend. However, her niece, I think it was her niece, had saw him and I, like, it was like a movie. Like, it literally was like a movie. It was like one of those things where, like, she saw him and I kissing, and initially, like, you know, she runs off and she did what she's supposed to do. She went and told her aunt. And, you know, that's when she came back outside and, she confronted both of us. Like, so she confronted both of us and she was like, you know, so you kissing, y'all out here kissing, like, you supposed to be my best friend and you supposed to be my boyfriend. Like, why would y'all do that to me? And she literally, like, she was really hurt. And I could see her hurt, so I was hurt that she was hurt. And then I'm in a fucked up situation because, like, I didn't want to even kiss that boy. Like, number one, this is a trauma for me. Like, when I was little, that is one of the things, like, I don't like kissing to this day. When I was little, I was forced to kiss. Like I told y'all, like, when I said, like, sexual abuse repeated itself, like, when I was little, like, other kids would, you don't call it that for other little kids, but like, yeah, other little kids, and I guess they was being sexually abused too, but other little kids would do stuff to me, and, like, that shit would fuck me up growing up. Like, it fucks me up. So, like, when I did get to an age of where I was supposed to be curious about sex and intimacy, like, where other teenagers hormones was kicking in, like, mine was kind of, like, shut down. I was, like, reserved. I was the one that, like, really, I didn't like being touched. I didn't like that shit. It doesn't mean that I didn't see boys and, you know, get tangly feelings about them, but it was just that, like, intimacy was awkward. Even into my grown-ass adulthood, like, intimacy is awkward. It takes me time to get comfortable with the person. So, in that situation, like, when he was kissing me, all I was thinking about was how I was in a fucking situation where it was flight or flight. And I did do the right thing. I did pull away from him and tell him that was my friend. However, that wasn't seen. And when she did come to the situation, she was hurt. She was so hurt. And I understood. And I was hurt also, though. Like, I was hurt too. But she didn't know the background. She didn't know none of that shit about me. So that's why I did put this video out here. Maybe one day she'll see it and she'll realize, like, what she thought had happened didn't happen. And the way she thought it did. It happened, but not the way she thought it did. And so with that situation, I was re-traumatized again. So she made us kiss again. And I was like, no, I don't want to kiss him. I didn't want to kiss him the first time. And she was like, no, if y'all gonna kiss behind my back, you need to kiss in front of my face. You doing it behind my back, you should do it in front of my face. And that just goes to show you the way she likes drama to unfold. So she wanted to humiliate us. Basically, that was her way of humiliating us. And however, this was beyond humiliation for me. This was traumatizing for me. So once again, I'm being kissed again against my will. I didn't want it. Then she was instructing him on what to do. And so it just got weird. And I got angry. Like, this is like, I got so angry to the point, like, I don't even think she realized it. Like, I wanted to fight her. I got angry because it was being abused all over again. Like, the shit was foul. So, like, yeah, I could tell after that, like, our friendship was, like, kind of different. Yet we still hung around each other. Yet we still talked to each other every day. And then I remember one situation where it was like she wanted to be funny. And I don't know if she made this story up or whether it was real, but she was telling me about another one of her friends and how one of the guys walked up to her and kissed her, and she was like, she didn't kiss him, he kissed her. And because that's what I had told her. But she waited. She was so strategic. She waited like months to do it. And what I did, because I was still fucking mad and I wanted to be a bitch, I was like, oh no, she lying. He kissed her, because I knew that's what she was looking for. She was looking for me to say whether or not, that's what she basically asked me. She was like, do you believe somebody can kiss somebody and the other person not kiss them back? And so I was like, nope. And I did that shit on purpose, because I felt like the same way she was doing that shit, like, you know, I just was being a bitch, and I just was, that was me. Like, I don't know, like, sometimes I get like that. I get vindictive. And because I understood her being hurt, and I understood that shit, but like, that shit was kind of sick that happened. Like, it was already fucked up that it happened, period. Then it got sick and twisted because you gave instructions on how to fuck. You wanted him to do some shit. Like, when he kissed me the first time, it was just like a peck and I pulled away. And you gave instructions and made that shit like so creepy and disgusting, and all I could do was have flashbacks about what had happened to me prior. So when she brought up that situation with her friend and that other guy, I always felt like it was made up. And so, being the bitch that I am, I was like, yeah, I think she did kiss him. She lied. And I did it because I know that's what she was looking for. Like, she was looking for, I don't think she was looking for that answer. I think she was looking for me to be like, you know, nah, yeah, another person can kiss somebody. Like, it's fucking common sense. Another person can kiss another person and the other person not kiss them back. Like, it's common fucking sense. Like, so I don't know, like, I definitely felt like our relationship was already kind of at odds anyway. No, I don't think I was aware of our relationship being at odds until then. And then I think for her, that was, you know, a shattering piece in our friendship for her. It's like, I think she looked at me with this purity that I looked at her with this purity, and I think that was a shattering point where she felt like, you know, I had wronged her, and I literally felt like she had wronged me. So even still, after that situation, I kept her on the pedestal for years. And however, I did start to get like a backbone, and I would like verbalize and put her in her place when I felt like she was wrong. And I think I was like one of very few friends that would do that shit to her. And I do feel like, you know, I don't know, maybe she wondered about the facts about that, but like, I never lied to her about that. Like, literally did not have interest in kissing that boy. Like, to this fucking day, like, Dante was alive, like, he could vouch for this. Like, I don't like kissing, and this was even before her boyfriend at the time kissed me. Like, I had one boyfriend that I kissed with all the time. Like, that was my 9th grade boyfriend, and like, I used to kiss him out of like guilt because like I wasn't putting out. And but I hated kissing. I fucking hated it with a fucking passion. And it wasn't because of her boyfriend. It wasn't because of her humiliation act that triggered me all over again. It was because when I was little, like, I used to be forced to kiss this little girl, and she used to like force me. And then she used to tell me, like, you would think like I was smart enough to like know better, like not to do it. But look, the girl used to be like, well, if you don't kiss me, then I'm gonna go tell my mama. And so once again, in the black community, like, you look at moms as like you're gonna get in trouble. So I was thinking like I was supposed to do this thing or I was gonna get in trouble. Now that I'm fucking grown, I realized that right there meant that her siblings probably was doing that to her. That she felt like if she told her mom, I was gonna get in trouble, and that was enough to scare me into doing it. And it was. Somebody was doing that to her. And so, unfortunately, my best friend didn't know that trauma about me at the time. Nobody did. And I think I wanted to tell this story because I think this is one of the situations where Two people can be the villain in a story. Like, all actuality, the real villain was her boyfriend. The nigga was for the streets before we realized what for the streets was. And I did not warrant that kiss. I did not want that kiss. That shit happened, and her reaction, you know, she came from a hurt place. You know, I don't know what she got out of it besides humiliating us, but I did not like her response to it, and I'm pretty sure she did not like hearing about her best friend and her boyfriend kissing. So when I say that I can be the villain in other people's stories, like, I literally can be the villain in other people's stories. So when I tell my stories, I'm not telling these stories to point fingers at people. For real, I be telling these stories that it'll help somebody else, like, that they know they're not alone. Some people might get entertainment out of it, but it's not me just venting, even though it's helpful for me. But I feel like I've had to deal with these things mentally myself before I could come out and talk to you guys about it. So it's not really like a true venting. But it's more of I'm basically bearing all so that, like, other people can free themselves and be okay with themselves. Like, things happen to you, you know, face it. You're not alone. Shit, there's people that done went through worse stuff than us. However, don't let that invalidate your own experience. You know, so I tell these stories just to be transparent, just to be human, like, to show you what it really looks like to be human, because I feel like we're walking around like as if we have to be these perfect people, when in all actuality we are literally human beings. I feel like we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Like, I really feel like that's basically all it is that we are all spiritual beings living in a flesh body suit, having and human experience, which is one of the most confusing fucking things in the world, but yet one of the most beautiful things too. So don't ever dim your light because of your past. Your past is your past. It taught you a lesson. But yeah, like, that's one of the stories. I was the villain because I was the villain. Shit. That's what it was. So wanted to give you one of the villain stories about me, and maybe that helps her. Maybe she, you know, can see this one day and realize, like, I wasn't lying to you. Because as an adult, like, I could tell you the truth. I mean, like, not the truth, because this is my truth, but, like, I could definitely tell you as an adult, a 34-year-old mom who has moved on past this situation, I could tell you, like, if I kissed that boy and I was trying to take your boyfriend, no, that's not what happened. That's never what happened. I think deep down inside you might know it didn't happen like that, but I think you were so hurt, and I think you were entitled to be hurt, and you did the best decision making you could with, I guess, the knowledge and resources you had. Like, but yeah, that one was on me, so I wanted to get that one out. It's another one too that I got about my sister. I want to tell that one, but that's gonna take a couple of videos. That was a lot, but I might shorten that one in it too, because there's a lot of details. Oh, that was a lot. Like, I think I done forgot. Like, that shit was brain damaging. Like, it was brain damaging trying to go down rabbit holes and keep up with lies and pick apart what's the lie, what's the truth. And I'm not talking about keep up with my lies. I'm talking about keep up with her lies and figure out which part was the truth and which part wasn't. It was just horrific. And yeah, that one is one for the books. For real. That shit ruined a relationship. Like, and it's weird because even after all of it happened, I did try to make amends. Because I was a villain in that story. I wasn't the villain she painted me out to be, but I was a villain. Don't Don't fuck with me. Don't do it. I was a villain, but I wasn't the villain that she painted me out to be. But I definitely fucked with her. I definitely did. Some other people did too. Just off the strength of me. Like, some other people definitely gave you hell.
I'm sorry.
For giving me hell. And I didn't even ask, though. You went out your way to gather a whole village, the whole village folks with pitchforks and fire. And, you know, I didn't even do that. I ain't even do that. I rarely even told my story about what happened. And even when I would try to tell my story about what happened, I would look at it and feel like, you know what, I don't even want to throw, you know, dirt all on you. I'm gonna let people figure you out for yourself, because I feel like if two of us is out here, you know, looking stupid, you know, nobody's gonna really know who the real fool is. So I just, you know, that was a situation where, like, I did have to eat a lot and let a certain narrative about me be. And I felt like it got to a point where it was like, shit, people who know me know my character. And a person who wants to believe those lies, don't fuck with me anyway. Like, they want to believe that shit about me. So, like, I just, you know, let that one rock. But I do want to tell that story one day, because I do think, like, a lot of people go through things with family members, and your family members can be your worst fucking enemy. I have not had nobody hurt me worse than family. I have not had nobody try to fuck me over worse than family. I have not met a stranger yet. And that has done me worse than family. So that is another story I want to tell, probably like this week, because I haven't been doing storytelling. And I do feel like I tell those stories so that other people can relate. Whether it's like, you know, similar, or it's just like it helps you think about a time where you were wrong and you can work through that and get past it and get over it. I think I still get activated about my sister shit, because like I said, I tried to make amends with that bitch twice, and it didn't take until the second time. And what I did learn was I could forgive her, but me and that bridge don't have to cross. Cause it got real bad. Like, she even wanted people to, like, not deal with me. Like if they knew both of us, like, they couldn't deal with me. She didn't want them dealing with me. Like, so I was just like, bruh, are we in, like, high school? Like, really? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck who people talk to. Like, as long as you keep my shit to you, and shit, even if you don't, like, I don't really care. But yeah, I think I'll tell that story. I think I will be telling that story. What other stories? There's some other ones too. It's a lifetime of stories. They'll come when they need to come. But this one was I like that this one popped up for me, because this one I felt like she was valid to a certain degree. I felt like the creepy shit, like, that shit I still don't fuck with to this day. But to this day, I do not like intimacy kissing. Just from that little girl who used to make me kiss her. And God rest her soul, she is no longer living. She was actually, I ain't gonna even, because I'll give out so many clues to who she was. But she was somebody that, like, people in my life would know. That was in my neighborhood. So I'm not gonna even give details to who she was, God rest her soul. And all I look at it as in, she was being, you know, abused herself. So, you know, it's the gift that keep on giving, and it won't stop giving until we bring light to it. And I don't think you can shame it out of people. I think that you have to bring light to it, and you have to ask, definitely when it comes to kids, like when you catch kids doing some stuff, like you gotta ask certain questions about like where they getting it from. And then, you know, sometimes kids are curious about sexuality, but like for that case, when she was like, if you don't do it, I'll tell your mom, like, this shit is stuck to me. Like, this event, I get flashbacks from it sometimes, like, and it's gross and it creeps me out. But it's just like, I always keep hearing, like, and I'm like, see, why didn't you realize? But I was young myself. Like, it's like, but why you ain't realize? Like, her ass would have gotten in trouble if she would have went and told her mom that shit. But as a kid, you look at authority figure, and like, I just thought, like, if I didn't do it, you know, I was gonna get in trouble. So, I did later tell my mom when I got older, and we had a conversation about it. And I think when I tell her stuff about like situations like that, like I hate her reaction to it, but it just further lets me know that like sexual abuse was not handled well when she was growing up. Cause like, I remember like she said something in the sense of like y'all was kids, like what was, you know, like where was I at, or you know, like, you know, it's like that. It's like she gets to this question and like, well, where was I at? And it's like, I don't fucking know. Like, how am I supposed to know where you was at? Like, shit. The fuck? You got ass, like, all over your place. Like, so I just feel like I need parents, when it comes to sexual abuse, to like put yourself to the side. Like, no one's blaming you. And I feel like if you get into such a defensive mode, it becomes your fault. Then it does become your part of the problem, because you now are in a situation where there isn't a safe space anymore, and you're projecting all over the place. Like, but little kids don't see that that's a projection, that you're not able to handle that situation. Little kids see it as you're basically invalidating the experience. You're basically like, I don't know how to explain that, but you're basically making it a hard situation for kids to come forward when you start to project over the place, because you feel like you couldn't protect the child. Like, there are going to be situations where you are not there. You send your kids to school. You don't always know what happens to them when they're at school. God forbid, I don't want nothing to happen to nobody kid at school, but it wouldn't be the first or the last time. And I just want parents to stop projecting that shit. And I just want this story out because I wanted to show where I was somewhat of a villain in someone else's story. I can't wait to tell the story about my sister, because baby, did I turn into a villain. I put the capital P in petty. And one of the shits is, I will die with that one, just so she could toss a turn each night trying to figure out who did what. But yes, so anyway,